this Bad Sugar Terrors here, and I just wanted to go over a few things that I've learned about Kimber and 1911s and 45 ACP, mainly about Kimber. But I did a video on this handgun. It's a Ultra Raptor II, ultra compact, 45 ACP, and there are some questions that I've found about Kimber's not being reliable, especially out of the box. Right out of the box, not reliable. But what I've been taught is that Kimber has such a design with tight tolerances. I mean, if you take, this one is loaded, but if you take this, and this one is dirty, but if you take it and rock it back and forth with the slide lock back, you're not going to get much. And again, this one it's dirty. If it was clean and oiled, you would probably feel a light rattle. I mean, nothing. It's so tight. With a Glock, you can basically shake it. Like, I mean, this is the barrel. It's got a tilting barrel on it. That's going to rock. But you would hear the whole thing rattle because the tolerances are so light on a Glock, just like the AK-47. They're both built with the same idea of so much space in between them, or between the contact areas, that even the most amount of dirt won't cause it to fail, cause it to jam. But one of the first things that I wanted to do is talk about, in the manual, this is the Kimber manual that comes with it, and page 26 and 27, it says right here, in the manual, if you read the directions, it says break-in period. Before firing the pistol for the first time, field strip and clean the firearm properly according to procedures. And then here it says, for proper break-in of the firearm, shoot 400 or 500 rounds of quality factory ball ammunition, and it says 230 grain. Cleaning and lubricating the gun every 100-150 rounds. Now, I didn't clean it every 100-150 rounds. Well, you know what? I probably bought a box of 100, took it home, cleaned it. I clean my gun every time I shoot it. Just for the main reason is because I enjoy doing it. And you know, clean gun is, I guess, a lesser chance of failure. Some guys have like Wilson Combats, and they take pride in not cleaning their gun up to 15,000 rounds and claim to never have a jam or a failure to feed or any kind of hiccup. And you know, after 15,000 rounds, that gun is well worn in. I mean, you're not going to have any problems with it, besides replacing parts after that. But even then, they still haven't replaced any parts. So it says in the manual, you want to 400, 500 rounds. You shoot ball ammo, and that's basically wearing down the necessary areas because of the tight tolerances, making it basically, you know, you're having two pieces of metal that are fabricated and put together, and to make those two pieces of metal form fit with a closer tolerance, but still maneuver correctly. I don't know the best way to put it, but you got to wear those two pieces of metal so that they are fine-tuned. Coming out of the factory, you know, they don't want to shoot your handgun 400 or 500 times because some of them come out just right. Mine, I was telling the Deadhead 71 that I don't recall exactly how many I had, but I think I've had 9 hiccups. But I don't even remember exactly those 9. It could be less. Some of them could have been my fault. Maybe holding this, you know, riding the slide back and stuff like that, or it could have been a limp wrist. I'll get into that later. But basically, when I first started shooting this gun, this is what I shot. Not 40 cal, of course, but it was 45 ACP Winchester 100 round white box. I've used. I did buy my second box. I did buy some hollow points, and I think that I had some jams with it. And of course, it does not recommend within the first 500 rounds using hollow points, because the metal is not, it's not worn for that ramp to fit just right. So you're supposed to use ball. Ball is just like this, and this is hollow point. See, my aim is off here. It's backwards, but you know, obviously there's a difference. One is gonna feed a lot smoother than the other. So I wouldn't even recommend using these within the first 500. Well, Kimber doesn't even recommend it. So anyways, even for my carry, I use rounds that, let's see if I can zoom in on this. I use my fragmenting rounds. This is my blue tips, white tips, the frangible rounds. Just because I don't want to have a feed issue, but I have shot hollow point after that, and I didn't have any feed issues or any kind of hiccups. Another thing is limp wristing. If you are at the range and you're practicing and you're not familiar on how to hold a handgun, and you hold it really limp, you can look it up, do some Googling, look up limp wrist on Kimber, limp wrist on a 45, or limp wrist period, and there's some videos where people intentionally cause jams with their handguns, different types of handguns. There's one video I watched, he had a SIG and an HK and a Glock, I think, and the only one that he could cause intentional limp wrist was the Glock. I'm sure that if you are not familiar on how to properly hold a 45, you can limp wrist and cause a malfunction, just, you know, operator error. Last thing I wanted to do is go over, I bought an extra mag. It comes with 2 mags, and I wanted an extra just to fill out my holster, my mag holders, and one in a clip in the actual handgun. But I did purchase a Wilson Combat. It's an extra round in it, so you got an extra round. So, you know, I think I've got some white tips in here, but I wanted to have that extra round if I needed it. Wilson Combat is claimed by the people that I purchased it from. The guy that sold it to me, not the owner, he was just a guy that worked there. He pulled out his own carry because, you know, he works in a gun shop, and he has Wilson Combat clips in his, I believe he has a Kimber and a Wilson Combat. I can't remember which one he had, but he said that these are the best, and so I got one. It was 30 bucks, around that. A little expensive, but you know, you gotta get what you pay for. So I haven't had any problems with feed in either one. Another thing is, I bought this from somewhere else, but this is Ultima Lube. This is Ultimate Weapons Lubricant Grease by Wilson Combat. I think it was around 10 bucks. 10 bucks for each. This one is the oil, and this one is the grease. So the oil will go on your small moving parts, and the grease will go on the contact areas of the slide. You can look up exactly where they go, but I got these two. So after I've shot the 500 round recommendation, I have not had one hiccup. I have not had any problems. Now I'm reloading the semi-wad cutters, and these are all hollow points. Yeah, I got them all. So I'm shooting the semi-wad cutters. this one right here, you would think would catch on everything except its mama, and it doesn't. It feeds perfectly. I've shot between 500 and 1,000 of these, and let's see, round tip, here we go. Here's ball. I mean, that's a big difference right there. I cannot get those straight for the life of me. I mean, you think it would catch right there on the neck of the brass. Have not had one failure to feed. Nothing at all. Now, I did take a friend that was not familiar with handguns, and the only thing he's ever shot was, I believe, a shotgun when he was 12. He's near 40 years old, and he didn't know how to shoot a firearm. I had to teach him. Pretty much explain everything. And the one thing that he did was limp wrist, mainly because I just had a fear of the handguns. He had my XD9, which has never failed on me, never had a hiccup. And I gave him the gun, and I said, this one, he said, is this going to blow up in my hand? Just amateur jokes about guns. And he grabbed it, he held it, pointed it down range, fired a couple shots, and it jammed on him. My mouth, I was jaw dropped. I was flabbergasted. The only thing that I can think of that happened was a limp wrist. He just shot with a limp wrist, and it caused the jam. So, the Deadhead 71, I guess before you get rid of your gun, before you try anything else, I would just maybe follow, not closely, but follow the best you can my recommendations. The first thing is read the manual just to confirm it for yourself. Shoot your 500 rounds of ball ammo, nothing else. I would recommend the white box, Winchester white box, just because that's what's recommended to me and it worked. And clean your gun after firing 100, 150 rounds. Oh, I did some research. Okay, this is an email from Kimber that was quoted on a forum, and it said for break-in, do 50 rounds, clean it, 50 rounds, clean it, 100 rounds, clean it, 100 rounds, clean it, 50 rounds, clean it, 50 rounds, clean it, then another 100 rounds and clean it. And this is quoted straight from the email they sent him. So, and if that didn't work, then send it to Kimber. I've heard that Kimber is horrible to deal with, and selling your gun because you can't make it work is just as bad. So try to follow those recommendations. I know that it's a pain in the butt to get a brand new anything and it not work right out of the box, but if you want something that works right out of the box, get a Glock, get a CZ, get an XD. I don't know about SIG and HK. I've got them. I've got a 5.7. It hasn't failed on me. I've got a 6-hour Mosquito. That son of a gun fails on me every 10 rounds, but that was expected. I could probably get the ramp honed down and stoned and all that crap, but I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait until it's absolutely necessary. CZ. All my videos I talk good about that gun. That is, God, miraculous. It's an amazing gun. Just awesome design. Everything is awesome about it. It's just heavy. It's a good range gun. This one is my carry. I want something that is gonna stop somebody. 9mm. I guess CZ40. I guess I could have did that. But anyways, this is about Kimber. This video is about Kimber, and I love this gun. It hasn't done me wrong. I love all the guns I have, except my Mosquito, my 6-hour 22 Mosquito. That one pisses me off. But I still have love for it, like a redheaded stepchild.